So, long story short, I fucked up. I lost the last couple of episodes where I was finishing up all the business in the Citadel. I basically did every side quest. I also, of course, advanced everything you need in order to advance the game. The main quest, we now have 3 new party members. We have Garrus, we have Rex, we have Tali. Basically, yeah, I did a lot of legwork. Well, actually, last 2 episodes. I lost 2 episodes because, basically I was recording a black screen because I forgot to do something really important, but tiny and easy to miss in my recording program, which is a big whoopsie. But, yeah, so, recap, basically those are the most important things. I also, Shepard also had sex with an Asari for the first time. It won't even be close to the first time. I basically am going to allow her to have as much lesbian sex as she can in the trilogy, which is actually a lot. Especially since I'm going with Liara. And then, basically, I have plans. I have plans for her to be a complete lesbian hoe, and it's gonna be great. Because I'm, pervy like that.
Commander, something you need?
Also, why... I'm guessing, okay, so...
I have to
anyway,
go.
Okay, so, along from that, aside from that, I did a lot of side questing. Let's just kind of recap by going through the completed quests in my journal first, friendos, for any of you that might not know what quests I'm talking about, and, you know, what Shepard thought about them and that kind of thing, and what kind of things she generally chose from my memory. I won't get everything, because there was a lot I did. I apologize for that. However, you know, we gotta carry on, because I'm gonna finish this darn Let's Play, darn it. So, okay, so... first of all, let's do missions, the important things. So, this will actually be really helpful, because it'll... you know what, I'm just going to read all of these. And then also give any extra Shepard input that I think I should give, based on these summaries. You've proven Saren's connected with the Geth. As a reward, the Council has granted you Spectre status and commissioned you to track the rogue Spectre down. Now, actually, let's see, okay, so what happened was... So, yeah, let's see, investigate Saren. Course Den. Okay, so... Fist, a crime lord hiding out in a bar called Cora's Den in the Lower Wards, is meeting with a Quarian who has proof Saren is working with the Geth. We learned that from Rex, who we found being questioned at CSEC by the Citadel security people. Saren's men have set a trap for the Quarian. You have to get to the alley before they kill her, so we... well, except they weren't going to kill her. I think they were going to capture her. Either that... No, they might have been able... They might... Yeah, they probably were going to kill her because... she had information linking Saren to the Geth. They probably wanted to kill her and destroy that information. Makes sense. Should be there when the ambassador represents the Quarian's evidence to the Citadel Council. Return to the Citadel Tower in the Presidium. Ambassador will provide you with a ship and a crew. So yeah, like, because she had that information and she showed it to Udina, they gave us a ship and a crew in order to go and, you know, like, they basically appointed me as the captain of the Normandy. Wow, I'm blanking on his name. Captain Anderson stepped down. I blank on names a lot. It's just, I've been doing it more and more, but it's okay. I'll have to live with that, you know? I have to live with that. Wow. Alright, so, sorry, friendos. Been a hecko a day, let me tell you. So Garrus, plead, good Metacritic, speak to Harkin. I honestly don't want to do this right now. So, I will continue my summary of things in the next clip. Magical transition. Alright, friendos, so... finally, got some slepbles, I'm doing Gucci, and so it is now time to continue things on. I'm trying to remember, and I cannot for the life of me, remember where I left off in summarizing last clip, and I'm not gonna rewatch it right now because I just want to record. I just want to get this done. So basically, I know I explained to you the general gist of the fact that we got the information from telling about Sarah, and in order to do that, we had to go through the whole fist thing. And we also did a lot of side quest content. We have Garrus, Rex, and Tali now. What's interesting is we're only gonna get one more companion for this game. We already have our team, except for one person. I think Liara is the last one. Spoiler alert. And what's funny is we're about to get her, which is really interesting because 2 and 3 are way different animals in that regard. But yeah, real early on you finish your team in this game, which I really like. I like how they give you the whole game, essentially, or at least most of the game, with all the characters in this game. Because most games don't do that. Most games give you at least, most RPGs, Western and Japanese style, that have a party system, usually give you at least one character is super late into the game and you barely get any time with them before the story's over, and I'm never really too much of a fan of that. Normally they end up squishing a lot more about that character into a smaller amount of time because of that, and then it just kind of ends up usually to the character's detriment. This game doesn't have that issue because of because of the fact that we're about to get our last party member, and we have a lot of game left. We are still early game right now. Anywho, among the most important side quest content we did, I'm just going to summarize from the mind instead of trying to go through all these descriptions anymore, was the fact that we ended up having sex with Shahira because we went ahead and we talked to Septimus, convinced him that he should act like a general and that he should apologize to her, and so we got him to do that and just sit on his ass drinking in Cora's Den. Feels good, man. And he told us that, he's the one who told Zelton that Shahira spilled his secrets when he's the goddamn one that did it. And so he gave us, with his change of heart that we helped him have, he gave us a data pad that showed Zelton where he got his info, and that exonerated Shahira. So I did both of those things. Turned them into her. She gave me she gave us a lovely gift of words, and it's always different depending on your background, but it's just this very poetic, philosophical look into, I don't know if philosophical is the right word, very poetic, very intuitive look into who you are as a person, and a lot of it goes into specifically your background and also the future a little bit. And it's a lovely way of showing the fact that Asari are just that Asari have this extremely deep intuition, and she has that so acutely that she can essentially divine a lot about me by just being in my presence, a lot about Shepard by just being in her presence, which is really awesome and interesting to me. And then she gave us a little trinket, which I don't remember what the purpose of it is. It's for a side quest later, I think. That's all I really remember about it. Hopefully we'll be delving into that soon. Speaking of delving into things, not in the way that, a male and female would delve in, a male would delve into a female's, but, there's probably some fingers and tongue delving. But yeah, so, we had sex. It's very important. It really is. I'm not just saying that because I'm a perv. I'm saying that because I think I already mentioned this before too, though I don't know if that was on camera at this point. But I think I mentioned before that that Shepard was kind of feeling like she was. I think honestly she was kind of feeling. Ada was feeling like she was pretty asexual until now, and she just realized she's really lesbian. She really likes Asari, especially, and that's going to influence her sexuality for the rest of the series. Let's say that, because Shira blew her fucking mind with that, man. A little more literally than probably normal sex would, because, you know, Asari brain melding stuff. Anywho, at least I'm guessing that is also a thing. I'm not sure if that's actually part of what she did with us, because I don't think that's actually shown in the cutscene. But, anywho. So yeah, we had sex with Shira. It's nice. That's very important too. I'm done joking about that. Let's actually go, I'll read Codex later. I've sat here talking at you without doing anything for a while enough now. And if any of y'all sat through all of that, thank you. You're awesome. Anywho, hello.
If anyone has to take over for Captain Anderson, I'm glad it's you. I'm not sure about having non-humans on our ship, though.
Okay. See, we had a little conversation with Presley about this before Eden Prime, and he just basically said it's not really an issue, but he's bringing it up again. It's very clear, and especially, we learned in Mass Effect 2 that he was really racist. Like, he kind of dialed it back here, but he really hated aliens. At least that's what I remember from what you end up learning about him in 2. A special little side DLC thing that really does help to tie up a lot of loose ends from 1 that are left undone for reasons that most of y'all probably are aware about. And if you aren't, you should go play ME2 and 1 and 3 even. Even Andromeda. Not a horrible game. A lot of people think it is, because yeah, it did definitely undershoot expectations, but combat's good. There's some good character moments and some good story moments. Definitely looks pretty. You know, there's good shiznit about it. There's some fun little puzzle elements too, and I don't know. I didn't hate it. I'm gonna be playing through it on the channel. It's a nice game. It's just not the Mass Effect we know and love. I mean, I never even finished it or 3, but I enjoyed both games. I'm going to rectify that for the channel, though, as I said. But regardless, yeah, she's gonna really, really make sure this hits home with him, because she really likes the aliens.
We're all on the same team here, Presley.
With all due respect, ma'am, that's what they said about Nihilus. Look how that turned out.
Nihilus didn't do anything. Nihilus died. He didn't betray us, Presley. Get your head out of your ass. She's pissed.
I'm in charge here, Presley. I decide if we have non-humans on this vessel.
Yes, ma'am. Understood, ma'am.
Yeah, like, I like Presley just because he's very respectful toward us, but his racism can go fuck itself. You know, I'm not even gonna investigate. She's pissed at him.
Presley.
Yes, ma'am.
She's pissed at him. The fact that he just keeps harping on that. Ugh. Like, why is that a fucking counterpoint? I can't get over that for some reason. Like, why is that a counterpoint to her saying that we're all on the same team here? Nihilus didn't do anything wrong. He got fucked up. He got killed by Saren. wow, I never realized how deep Presley's racism ran, but that one little thing really kind of hits home for me. At least the way I interpreted that and why he might have said that specific thing. Because doesn't he know that Nihilus got killed by Saren? That has nothing to do with him betraying us or anything like that. Anyway. Ooh, like, yes, Nihilus died, but, like, he didn't do anything. What the fuck? He just got killed. Anyway.
Yes, Commander? Is there something you need?
How well do you know the lieutenant?
I'd never worked with him before this mission, but he has an impressive service record. Over a dozen special commendations. Tends to keep to himself, though. Maybe because of the headaches. It's not easy being an L2.
Oh, what now?
What does that have to do with it?
Well, most biotics now use the L3 implants. Lieutenant Alenko was wired for the old L2 configuration. Sometimes there are complications.
What kind of complications?
Severe mental disabilities, insanity, crippling physical pain. There's a long list of horrific side effects. Hayden's lucky. He just gets migraines.
Oof. Caden Huggins. He really does seem to keep a level head most of the time, even if he might have splitting headaches all the goddamn time. I like Caden. I like Caden as a character quite a bit. In fact, I usually end up keeping Caden. Actually, again, I really dislike racism. I'm white, but I have a lot of colored friends, so racists can go fuck themselves. But so that kind of is bleeding over into here, you know. I also just love every alien on the crew with a passion. I love them so much. So yeah, Ashley can go to hell, and so can Presley. To be entirely frank, just for that, until they, you know, straighten up their act a little bit. Anyway. We've asked about her. I don't know if we've asked about Caden before, and I just kind of am on autopilot trying to talk to everyone right now. We don't have Liara yet. She's gonna be back here when we get her, and we will be going there first, to go rescue her. That is another thing, is we got 3 possible missions to go to, and we'll be able to do those in any order. I think I remember these first 3. You can essentially do them in whatever order, and I will be choosing Liara's first. You can definitely choose which one to do first. I remember that, but I'm not sure when it starts basically forcing your hand when it comes to missions. But there's a certain point where it kind of does. At least I think I remember that. I don't know. Or maybe that's more 2 and 3. But, don't open my door, close my door. Apologies, my family. Trying to record her, my family's like trying to not make that happen, but it's all beauty. Okay, I wanted to talk to Joker a lot. I keep forgetting to do that and doing something else, so let's go talk to Joker. I'm not sure if I talked to him before, but I just want to make sure I cover all my bases here.
Commander, something you need?
How's the Normandy performing? Is she everything I said she'd be?
She's the best ship in the fleet, if you've got a pilot who knows how to handle her. Balance isn't what you'd expect. Takes a while to get used to that oversized drive core we got stuffed in the back, and her power can sneak up on you if you're not careful. The Normandy's probably too much ship for your average Alliance pilot, Commander. Lucky for you, I'm anything but average.
Beautiful.
How's the Normandy performing? Is she everything they said she'd be?
She's the best ship in the fleet, if you've got a pilot who knows how to
But
handle
hold on. Did I just do this? Oh,
I
never mind.
Takes a while to get used to that oversized drive core we got stuffed in the back, and her power can sneak up.
I'm not sure if I've done this before.
Normandy's probably too
particularly,
much
but-
ship for your average Alliance pilot, Commander. Lucky for you, I'm anything but average.
I apologize if I just did the same thing twice. But I think at least that middle part I didn't, but if I did, I'm sorry, I'm really out of it right now. Not
I
really,
have to
but
go.
I'm pretty darn out of it. I did say I just slept, but not too much. To be entirely frank, because my body is being strange about sleep right now. I'm sure all of y'all can relate at some point in your lives to that. Pretty darn certain. It's a human thing we all go through. There's nothing in here, right? I don't think so. I do not believe so. Noble. But yeah, we're gonna systematically go talk to everyone now, because we now have 3 new crew members. So let's go welcome them as the new captain of the ship. Also, Shepherd, Booty. It's not much to look at right now. But in 2 and 3, goddamn. But still, that's a pretty nice booty in 1 even. And, Lore Runner, one of my favorite commentators, one of my biggest inspirations for doing these videos, he made a really good point in his Mass Effect lore run, which I heartily recommend that all of you watch if you want to. Her build is in this game is very military, like, you know, more, you know, focusing on muscle than anything, and being fit and being able to be in combat. So, you know, she's got, you know, she's got a pretty typical soldier build, but in 2 and 3, she's got a very sexualized build. And to be entirely frank, I enjoy that in 2 and 3, because I am a man. And Laura does too, but he just doesn't agree with the fact that that occurred. It's a little more realistic for her to have this kind of build. And I feel like more games should over-sexualize less. I mean, come on, Western developers. Japan does all the over-sexualizing anyone would ever want in anything ever, so why don't you just tone it down? That's my 2 cents anyway. I'm looking at you, Mass Effect 2, and Miranda's ass in every other shot. You'll see when we get there, friends, because goddamn. Okay, it's a nice ass. I'm sure that y'all are proud of how much your animators spent working on that booty, but come on, people. Anyway.
Anything you need, Commander?
Just trying to get a sense of where the crew's at. Thoughts?
I've wasted enough of your time for now, Commander. We'll have time for personal debriefings later.
What about technical appraisal?
What's your opinion on the last mission?
I don't see how we could have done things any better. At least not without getting to E5 sooner. But we were on the scene faster than any other Alliance ship could have been.
That is true.
We'll talk another time, Lieutenant.
Yeah, he's got a very level head. I really do like Caden. A lot of people think he's kind of wooden, but he's just very military man and very professional and very upfront and just try not to stand out too much. And I understand that, you know, a lot. There's a lot of characters in this series. There's a lot of characters in a lot of things that seem to have a lot of overtly negative opinions about them that I do not have. And a lot of the overtly negative opinions I have about characters tend to be pretty unpopular. But that's just me. First of all, I'm autistic. That's probably the reason for a lot of my unpopular opinions. I'm wired differently than most people. That is just a fact of my existence. So that probably makes up for a lot of that kind of thing. Anyway, not makes up, but accounts for. That's what I meant to say regarding that. But, but anywho, yeah, they're gonna be on this level, the 3rd level here. Close the door. Close the door, Mom. Close. Thank you. Alrighty.
Hey, Commander. Looking for some extra supplies before you head out?
Supplies?
What have you got?
Whatever you want. Armor, weapons, mods. It's not standard Alliance issue, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Well, as long as you don't mind paying for it.
Why should I pay you for my weapons and armor?
My stuff doesn't come from the Alliance. I have to purchase it myself, and it's not cheap. Hell, the licenses alone have set me back more than I'd like. But no licenses, no goods. Without the goods, I'm out of a job.
So you can he's your on-ship convenient vendor, and you can buy licenses from most shops elsewhere. I bought a few from the Citadel, and most of that was in the 2 episodes I lost the footage of. But hold on a second. Okay, thank God. I was just making sure I was recording my monitor, because that was what I wasn't doing last time. Anywho,
Let's see what you got.
You bet, Commander.
question is, he have heavy armor? He does. It's 24,000 credits, though. Wow. Let's sell things, though. I'm not gonna use most of this shit. I kind of want to sell all, because all I really care about really is new stuff I'm going to be getting. Heavy armor and a good-ass rifle, because I'm only on normal. Okay, I'm going to sell everything. Here's what I usually do. The highest level of something I already have, I keep. The 1s and 2s, and later on in the game, 3s and 4s and even 5s, I start selling. I sell everything that's 1, 2, you know, at least this early on, and there's quite a bit of that, so let's go ahead and just do that. Real quick like. Game, why isn't it letting me? There we go. Okay, it's really unintuitive about how you sell things and so needs this skin. Mom, don't open my door. Close it, please. Thank you. Alright, so... there we go. Alright. Hello, Garrus.
Thanks for bringing me on board, Commander.
You're welcome.
I knew working with the Spectre would be better than life at CSAC.
How'd you know?
Have you worked with the Spectre before?
Well, no, but I know what they're like. Spectres make their own rules. You're free to handle things your way. CSEC, you're very vital. The damn bureaucrats are always on your back.
Being a Spectre does have its advantages.
Exactly my point. If I'm trying to take down a suspect, it shouldn't matter how I do it, as long as I do it. But CSEC wants it done their way. Protocol and procedure come first. That's why I left.
So you just quit because you didn't like the way they do things?
There's more to it than that. It didn't start out bad, but as I rose in ranks, I got saddled with more and more red tape. CSEC's handling of Saren was typical. I just couldn't take it anymore. I hate it.
I hope you made the right choice. I'd hate for you to regret it later.
Well, that's sort of why I teamed up with you. It's a chance for me to get off the Citadel, see how things are done outside CSEC. Either way, I plan to make the most of this. And without CSEC headquarters looking over my shoulder, well, maybe I can get the job done my way for a change.
As long as you do your job well, you're free to go about your business as you see fit.
Thank you, Commander.
Yeah, I like Garrus's attitude. He's, he's loose cannony enough that he makes sure the right people, stay, the right people are protected as much as possible, and the wrong people get what they deserve, which is normally a nice bullet through the skull, you know what I mean? Or, well, I mean, energy blast in this universe's case, but, you know what I mean. Hello, Ashley.
Commander?
Do you have a few minutes to talk? One-on-one?
I'm sorry, Commander. I need to get my duties squared away. I wouldn't mind talking more later, though.
What's your opinion of the last mission?
Kinda wish you got there sooner.
Yeah, she does too.
Thanks, I
Don't,
appreciate the
like,
rescue. I just
don't hold me on that one. Definitely.
You wish we'd been able to save the rest of your unit.
Yes, ma'am. If I had been more alert, we wouldn't have been cut down by an ambush.
The Geth are perfect ambushers. They don't move, they don't make noise, they don't even breathe.
They have flashlight heads, ma'am. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
They have flashlight heads, but they're really good at still being pretty stealthy. Still holds, and you know, it's interesting. Ashley's pretty hard on herself.
Dismissed, Chief.
Ma'am.
I wonder why the line is delivered that way. Dismiss, Chief. It kind of sounds either snarky or I don't know how to place that. It kind of sounds awkward or snarky or I don't know. It sounds a bit strange how the voice actress placed her inflection there, like how she actually said specifically those words. But I still like the way it is. It seems like that particular one would fit better for some different conversations than that one, in my Dergy opinion. Alright, yeah, that's right, we can get some nice codexy stuff. Gimme. And, I swear, yeah, there's Rex. I was like, Rex should be in here, shouldn't he?
Nice ship you got, Shepard.
Thank you.
What can I do for you?
What's your story, Rex?
There's no story. Go ask the Quarian if you want stories.
No, I want to hear all the stories from everyone, and like a certain YouTuber I watched today, who, I like his stuff, he's funny, but I started to realize that, well, I used to love his stuff back in the day when I was less super into game lore, and I know why now, but I don't watch him anymore. He's very straight and to the point and let's get to the gameplay, and he's very snarky about what he doesn't want to hear. So basically, he told Tali that she wasted 5 minutes of his time with her whole spiel about the Geth, and we'll see that in a second. It's long, but it's really detailed and interesting, and I love it. And he basically said that wasted his time, and that pissed me off. Now, I remember loving his whole Let's Play because I watched it a few years ago, but yeah, all I know is that I want to be the opposite of that. And I'm hoping that I'm doing that entertainingly as possible. And if I'm not to some of you, I hope that most of you will see that in future videos, if you stick around for those. Or, you know, in the ones you actually see, because I know that I do not really have viewers right now. I really don't have basically any. But I'm doing this because I love it. But regardless...
Krogans live for centuries. Don't tell me you haven't had a few interesting adventures.
Well, there was this one time the Turians almost wiped out our entire race. That was fun.
I heard about that.
That's
It
true.
seems pretty much the same.
Yeah, okay. I don't want to hear this conversation right now. This argument.
Compare humanity's fate with the Krogan. As for the Krogan, the genophage infected us, but it's not what's killing us.
But yeah, what she was talking about there with the Turians having done almost the same to them was the First Contact War, I do believe.
So long, Rex.
I thought I'd sit there and listen to his whole thing, but I don't really want his attitude right now, and his complete bluntness. His story is very interesting, and when he actually gets talking, it's great, but I don't want to hear that... It's interesting, because I'm about to love everything Charlie's about to say, but I didn't really think I wouldn't want to sit there and listen to Rex there. Especially because I did earlier today, because I was watching that Let's Play I was talking about. But I know I'll listen to her and love it.
Amazing, Shepard. I've never seen a drive core like this before.
I can't believe you were able to fit it into a ship this small. I'm starting to understand why you humans have been so successful. I had no idea Alliance vessels were so advanced.
The Normandy's prototype, cutting-edge technology.
A month ago, I was patching a makeshift fuel line into a converted tug ship in the flotilla. Now, I'm sitting on board one of the most advanced vessels in Citadel space. I have to thank you again for bringing me along. Traveling on a vessel like this is a dream come true for me.
I had no idea you found ship technology so interesting.
It comes with being a Quarian. The migrant fleet is the key to the survival of my people. Ships are our most valuable resource. But we don't have anything like this. We make do with cast-offs and second-hand equipment. We just try to keep them running for as long as we can. Some of the fleet's larger vessels date all the way back to our original flight from the get.
I can't believe your fleet's still using ships that are 3 centuries old.
They're constantly being repaired, modified, and refitted. They aren't pretty, but they work. Mostly. We've tried to make ourselves as independent as possible on the flotilla. Grow our own food, mine, and process our own fuel. But some things we just can't make on our own. A patch to maintain the hull integrity requires raw materials we just don't have. That's why our pilgrimages are so important.
Tell me about your people.
Our lives aren't easy. Resources are scarce, and we are constantly on the move. Everything we do must in some way contribute to the continuation of the migrant fleet. There are 17 million Quarians in the flotilla, and each of us relies on the others for survival. The bonds among my people are strong. Unfortunately, we have had to surrender many of the freedoms and civil liberties other species take for granted.
What kind of freedoms?
Well, it's illegal for parents to have more than one child. If our population grows too much, it would strain our resources to their breaking point. Of course, we also can't allow our numbers to become too few. If our population is in decline, the rule against single births is temporarily repealed. In extreme cases of population decline, incentives are even offered to encourage multiple births. Though the Conclave hasn't had to take such measures in nearly a century.
That's your government.
The Conclave is our civilian branch of government. Each ship can elect a representative to serve on the Conclave and make decisions that affect the fleet as a whole. On matters that affect an individual ship, however, the captain has the final say. It's a tradition that dates back to the early days, when the fleet was governed by martial law. Fortunately, most captains nowadays are smart enough to have an elected council from their crew to give them advice and guidance.
So the ultimate power rests with elected officials?
In practice, the Conclave and the respective council for each ship tend to set the rules that govern our daily lives. But in theory, we are still under military jurisdiction.
Which is interesting.
The 5 top-ranking military officials in the fleet serve on the Admiralty Board. These 5 have the power to overrule any decision by the Conclave in case of emergency. To do so requires unanimous agreement among the Admiralty. And they can only do this once. After that, the entire board must resign their posts. It's a safeguard that served us well. In nearly 3 centuries, the Admiralty Board has only overruled the Conclave 4 times.
I want to know more about the Geth.
I doubt I can tell you anything you don't already know. It's been almost 3 centuries since they drove my people into exile. All I know is the story of their origins. What they were when we created them, and how they turned on us.
This is very fascinating to me, and this is also what the other person that I was talking about said that annoyed him, which kind of annoyed me. But regarding their government, it also really does fascinate me. It kind of seems like a democracy, but at the same time, well, it seems more like they have. Well, I say democracy, but what I was referring to there was America, which I know isn't really one. They have, basically their own kind of Congress that's the or there's, I think more like, I think it's closer to the Senate in America, their conclave. But then they have the Admiralty Board, which is kind of like, you know, what is that kind of government called? An oligarchy. It's kind of like an oligarchy, it sounds like. It kind of merged with sort of a democratic kind of a thingu. It's very interesting. But you notice that pure democracies where elected officials are the only power really is, you know, or, you know, and that kind of thing is not really, it's not really ever how it really works. Like in America. Anywho, but in a different sense. It's interesting. Anywho,
Interesting.
The Geth were originally created to serve as an automated manual labor force. Initially, their intelligence was as limited as any VI. Over time, we made small modifications to their programming to allow them to perform more varied and complex tasks, bringing them closer and closer to true AI status.
How come the council didn't step in and stop you?
This wasn't true AI research. We may have been skirting the bounds of the law, but we never did anything that was actually illegal. The changes were so insignificant, so gradual, that we were able to control them. Or so we thought. But one thing we underestimated was the power of the neural network. A million Geth thinking simultaneously created an inherently unstable matrix.
and this is a really fascinating thing to me.
So the Geths share brain power?
Many of the Geth's logic systems were designed to work in concert with other nearby Geth. Basically, the more of them you have in the group, the smarter they are.
What made them rebel?
As we built more and more Geth, their effective intelligence became more sophisticated, more abstract. One day, a Geth began to ask its Quarian overseer questions about the nature of its existence. Am I alive? Why am I here? What is my purpose? As you can imagine, this caused a near panic among my people.
What did you do?
It was inevitable the newly sentient Geth would rebel against their situation. We knew they would rise up against us, so we acted first. A general order went out across all Quarian-controlled systems to permanently deactivate all Geth. The Geth responded to this order violently.
Hey, you can't blame them for fighting for their survival.
We had no other choice. The Geth were already on the verge of revolution. By acting quickly, we had a chance to end the war before it began. The hope was that most of the Geth would still be little more than machines, incapable of organized resistance. But they had progressed much further than anyone anticipated. The war was long and bloody. Millions upon millions of Quarians died at their hands. In the end, we were forced to flee our own homeworld. We feared the Geth would pursue us, but they never came beyond the veil. Now we drift through space, exiled, searching for a way to reclaim what was once ours.
See, why the fuck would you argue with her about this? This is shit that she had nothing to do with. Why would you try to say your people are wrong? She's very adamant about this. Maybe this is just me and my non-confrontational nature, but I also do not disagree with her at all on this. So that's also helping me not want to go this way. And if you notice, it seemed like all of our options earlier for that last choice I had were basically refuting her point instead of just agreeing with her. I'd rather have the option to agree with her. Now, I might have had that option, but it didn't look like I did to me. But anyway, I think that's enough for now, but yeah. It's a really fascinating and necessary conversation, I think, because, well, the Geth are our main enemy for this game. So, yeah.
I should go.
It's important to know their background, I'd say, because you really know what you're fighting against at that point. And it's interesting because now, they've started revering the Reapers as gods. They have a religion. That's how sophisticated they are now. And it's interesting because geth that were created... See, these machines that were created by one of the races still living here end up being used, spoiler alert, by the Reapers in order to help destroy the galaxy, or at least try to. And that's interesting because of how random it is, but at the same time, it doesn't seem like it was random. There's theories that essentially the Reapers calculate how all of existence pans out, essentially. And it always pans out the way they think it does. And that's why they're able to just go in and wipe out everything every time. Anywho, hello there, Engineer Adams.
Commander, you know that Quarian Tally? She's been spending all her time down here asking me about our engines.
See, why can't you just say, oh, cool, instead of antagonizing her, essentially, when she's right the fuck there? And all you can say is negative things about her, essentially, or ask if she's bothering him. Although the way he phrased the question, I guess, is a little bit like annoyed sounding. So I suppose that this is kind of a natural reaction that I still would have, but I love Tali. So I'm a little miffed at all of these options that seem to really make me be or feel against her.
I'll tell her to leave you alone.
What? No, she's amazing. I wish my guys were half as smart as she is. Give her a month on board and she'll know more about our engines than I do. She's got a real knack for technology, that one. I can see why you wanted her to come along.
I figured she'd be a real asset to the team.
You've got an eye for talent, Commander, but I'm guessing that's not why you came down here.
Let's actually ask him about the Normandy itself here while we can, because I love this tech talk. It's very fascinating.
Fill me in on the IES stealth system. How does it work exactly?
You can't hide a ship out in space. They emit too much heat and radiation. Too easy for sensors to pick them up, unless you find a way to capture those emissions. So our stealth systems trap the energy we give off in storage sinks built into the ship itself, and have emissions to give away our location. Eventually the sinks have to be vented. More than a few hours silent running, and they overheat. Cook us inside our own hull.
What I love about science fiction is a lot of the technicality that goes into how everything works. A lot of science fiction, even if it's not all really rooted in real science, because it's hard to kind of have that occur, especially if you don't have a scientific background, and I certainly don't. But a lot of what I love about science fiction is more than fantasy. Science fiction tends to explain everything. I love that. I love having so much background mechanics on how everything works, especially in regards to this technology stuff, but they also tend to do that with everything, because it's more scientific than just fantastical, you know? It's interesting. It seems to be the nature of science fiction. And the more something bleeds into a fantasy direction, the less goes explained, in my experience. It's interesting. At least that's kind of how what I feel like I've noticed. And I just kind of thought about this right now. And all I know is that with my sci-fi setting, I'm really trying to take a leaf out of BioWare's book and kind of think about the implications and the applications and how everything that I'm creating, especially tech-wise, works, but also the way the universe I'm creating itself works and how it functions. And what's interesting is I'm merging sci-fi and fantasy myself there, but I really want to lean more in a scientific direction, as you know, in order to explain all that how everything works. And I think part of how I'm doing that comes from my inspiration, my sheer amount of inspiration that I've gotten for everything that I create from this particular game and Mass Effect 2.
There's no way for anyone to detect us?
visual scan can still pick us up. Anyone looking out a window can see us plain as day. But you have to be pretty close to get an actual visual out in space. Most vessels rely on scanners. As long as the stealth systems are engaged, they can't see us. Not unless we accelerate to FTL speeds.
Why doesn't it work with faster than light travel?
Cranking up the FTL blue shifts our emissions, pushes them into frequencies too high to capture in sinks. As soon as we make the jump, it's like setting off a flare. Sensors can pick up our location whenever we enter a exit. For short-range missions, our stealth systems are amazing. We've got the only one.
Apologies for that noise, friendos. Family stuff again.
I want to know more about the Normandy.
She's the best ship I've ever served on. Probably the fastest vessel ever designed. She's the only one using the new Tantalus drive core.
What's so special about the Tantalus drive core?
Proportionally, it's about twice the size of any other vessel. Not only are we faster, we can run at FTL speeds longer before we have to discharge the core.
Alrighty.
Carry on, Adams.
Here you go, carry on. Had more family stuff if you're wondering what caused the probable jump cut I had there, but yeah. So yeah, words and things and stuff. I'm thinking, see, I think it's about time to codex, actually, because I've talked to everyone, and we're going to be doing the, I believe it's the Artemis Tau cluster next. So, join me next episode when we're going to be doing that, friendos, but for the memento, I think we're actually going to we're actually going to leave off for now. So, in the meantime, I hope you all have absolutely wondrous days, and I will talk to you in the next episode. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to, friendos, and see you later. Have a lovely day. Now,